And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentleman of Crypto, episode 541. Today is Thursday, February 6th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. I know I missed yesterday, long day running around. I was trying to get on late last night, but it wasn't possible. So, of course, back with you today. Top stories are Bitcoin achieves major milestone with 500 million transactions confirmed. Ex-IOTA developer threatens foundation director with legal action over $8 million. Ripple partners with NASDAQ-listed firm to bolster U.S.-Mexico payments. And SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce proposes 3-year safe harbor period for crypto token sales. But first, of course, let's go ahead and look at those prices. So I know that's on the top of everybody's mind. I'm seeing people... I'm already seeing people like literally go for the bull. It's a bull market. It's here. Altcoins are pumping. All the goodness and craziness. Listen, I'm excited too, people. I hope that to be true. With the impending halving coming up in literally 2.5 months now, this should be the sign of a bull run. But also remember, I think last year we were at about 11,500, and we saw that bad boy dip right back down a few G's. So just make sure you're watching your trades, you have your buy and sell orders, and expect the worst too in this market because you never know. With all that being said, though, Bitcoin today is at $9,793, up 2.71% on the 24-hour clock. Again, from a couple of days ago when I last covered the price of Bitcoin, I think it's up about $500 on that. Ethereum is at $213, up 7%. Ripple at 28 cents, up 3.04%. And I definitely have this article for Ripple I want to cover because the other day when I mentioned that Ripple is something I've said actually since 2017. I said Ripple has about 3 to 5 years legs on it, depending on how aggressive and fast regulators and the government moves. But the other day when I said Ripple is still a tradable asset, something we have said time and time on here again, whether you like it or not, it's a tradable asset. I even saw Arthur Hayes from BitMEX tweet about it and say, hey, we got Ripple pairings now for different types of trades. Whether you love it, whether you think it's a crap coin or wherever, it's tradable and we have it. I've been saying the same thing, and I'm reiterating that because the other day I was attacked. That is right. I didn't make any mention or comment of it. I see some of the naysayers out there. I just laugh and keep it pushing because I could care less. But I saw people on Twitter, I saw people on YouTube, and other things saying basically that my analysis of Ripple was off, as well as Ripple, being a crap coin and being dead and all that. As I have said, Ripple is a tradable asset as long as there is no federal dollar, central bank digital currency. As long as we don't see any of those, which I think, again, we only have a year, maybe a year and a half left before we develop this digital dollar as Giancarlo is attempting to do. Until that is made, Ripple is created for banks and institutions to basically trade crypto and to do other finances. They will continue to use Ripple or maybe JP Morgan coin with the Quorum blockchain until something better comes about. So until something better comes about, it's still a tradable asset. I think I said that when the price was like 23 cents, and here we are at 28 cents. That already makes me right if you sell it today. All right, after today, I can't say anything, but right now, it's still a tradable asset. All right, Bcash is at $440, big pump, up 1.85%. Litecoin is at $73, up 0.57%. EOS is at $4.56, up 1.54 cents. So again, as you can see, a lot of green. Everything is pumping. So yeah, this is all good for the market, healthy for the market. We'll see what happens, right? What's going on? Sister Lockmo, Christopher Lab, Madam Crypto, Leroy Forbes, Tessa Hall, the Game I Peep. Yes. Game I Peep said, people can say whatever they want about Ripple, but it will bring great gains, no emotional attachment. Exactly. No emotional attachment. Look, I'm ready to cut Ripple loose the moment it's done pumping. But again, you got to remember, this was one of CNBC's sweethearts. This is one of their darlings, one of their babies that they promoted at $3.25, where a lot of people lost money. So I think, I think what we see, just where I know about media, how the media works, how media relations works. If they were that wrong at that time, they definitely cannot wait until Ripple pumps again so they can say, see, we told you so 2 years ago, right? So if it goes to $3.70, $4, you better believe it's going to be right back on CNBC, and they're going to be like, we told you so. You remember 2 years ago when we told you to buy at $3.25 and people called us crazy and it was this long run, or it was back at $4 or $5 and you would have invested in 2 years, your percentage still would have increased 30% or whatever, right? Which would still be a true statement and would make them right as well. But my point is the media isn't done with Ripple. Brad Garlinghouse has done great when it comes to marketing. He's in every country. So again, just based off, these are fundamental things. This isn't a technical analysis. That's what people keep getting caught up in from the technical side. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Yes, but from the fundamental side, it makes sense for it to continue to pump and continue to do well. So again, will it last forever? No. But I did want to comment on it because I saw it pump to 28 cents. You have to remember 2 years ago, it was less than a penny. And then it magnificently went up to $3 and some change. So 28 cents is still a good price. I think it still has room for growth. It's not done yet. So keep an eye out on that. All right, but back to the granddaddy of them all, Bitcoin achieves major milestone with 500 million transactions confirmed. Hey, this is something no one's talking about. That's very important, people. You talk about the significance of Bitcoin, blockchain, can it work, network congestion, scalability, all these other different things that go into the technical side of Bitcoin. We need to point out that as of today, after 11 years, Bitcoin now has confirmed 500 million transactions, 500 million transactions. That is quite impressive. Looks like according to blockchain analytics site Satoshi, there have been 500 million transactions on the blockchain, Bitcoin blockchain as of press time. And you can see here, this is the historical transaction chart. You can see it's a steady incline. Of course, if you zoom in, we'll see some dips, but zooming out, it looks pretty linear from here, as the network should look. This shows basically people are finding out about it. And this is a good thing that you don't see a major dip, because if you did see let's say, in between a few of these days, you saw that huge dip or that big dip down, that will means that Bitcoin, this is the last few days, beginning of February, but if you were to see a big dip on this scale, looking at the totality of the 11 years, that would show something is wrong with the network. But in reality, if you were to zoom out and look at the full 11 years, it still has the same linear graph to it. So that's good to see. Looks like crypto firm Casa CTO Jameson Locke, co-founder and CTO site Satoshi, celebrated a milestone on Twitter, saying today as of block, and you can see the block number here, Bitcoin surpassed 500 million transactions confirmed on the blockchain. Also, another Twitter user, Hodlnaut, tweeted, Bitcoin isn't talking about this or about how revolutionary and unprecedented its traits of censorship, resistance, and immutability are. Bitcoin just is and does. Once block at one, I'm pretty sure he meant one block at a time, but it says once block at a time. So again, this is important because as Hodlnaut tweeted, there is no CEO for Bitcoin. So no one can come out and say, except for these alternative stations like this, no one's coming out saying Bitcoin is doing this now. No one's doing that. Bitcoin is revolutionary. Bitcoin censorship resistant, immutable. Bitcoin just is. No one's coming out yelling this, especially on any mainstream channel, because it doesn't have a CEO and it continues to work very well. So shout out to Bitcoin blockchain. 500 million transactions confirmed. This is the first 11 years, and realistically, the world has only really paid attention to it the last 3 years or so. So this is a major milestone, and it continues to show that Bitcoin is not going anywhere. What's going on, Tiffany from New York? Sergeant Crypto, hello. All right, back into some beefs. Okay, we're gonna have to start a section called Crypto Beefs and just do videos on it. Looks like ex-IOTA developer threatens foundation director with legal action over $8 million. That is right. Looks like a co-founder and former lead developer of the decentralized network IOTA, Sergey Ivan Cheglo, has IOTA Foundation David Sonstibo with a lawsuit over 25 million IOTA. Whoever wrote this intro paragraph, it was poorly written. Who is this? Come on, Adrian, you usually do better. Did you rush this? Looks like Ivan Cheglo, I can't pronounce this, announced that he is contacting his lawyer to obtain the assets from Sonstibo in a tweet on February 2nd. Of course, co-founders, developers, and CEOs love to tweet beefs now. Everybody got the Twitter fingers. The coins that he claims belong to him are half of the holdings of Gen Labs, a ternary computing development firm they jointly launched. Looks like he's being quoted from his tweet where he says that I notify the IOTA community that I no longer work with David Sonstibo, and I'm contacting my lawyers to get my 25 Ti for him. He refuses to transfer the IOTAs to make me act for his own benefit and against mine. Stebo replied back in the tweet. He said, while the IOTA community certainly has every right to feel let down and angered by CFB's actions, I encourage you all to rather channel that energy into something more conducive toward IOTA's vision. Adhering to the timeless adage of the internet, don't feed the troll. He called his ex-partner / co-founder a troll is the best approach here. And last but not least, it's crazy. This is so catty. I can't believe I'm reporting this. But last but not least, Ivan Cheglo responded back to him on Twitter and said, to show him that his deed was morally wrong, I'll be publishing here fragments of our private convos related to the drama. I'll stop after he apologizes. Again, this is on Cointelegraph. You can go to these screenshots of the private conversations if you care that much. They go a little bit back and forth more on Twitter, so more people throw their 2 cents in. But again, it's crazy to see this. And of course, one of the primary reasons I'm covering this is, if you remember, we used to do altcoins we buy back in the day. IOTA was one of those altcoins we bought at the time. It did very well for everybody who had bought in and sold around the same time as us. And we also thought that IOTA was going to be one of the futures of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency industry, right? Still do. Still has a lot of promise. If you don't know, IOTA is working on the Internet of Things side of technology, so that hopes to connect their blockchain to say when Internet of Things finally comes about and your refrigerator, it's a weight on your refrigerator, shelf that holds the milk or the eggs, and the moment it reduces to a certain amount of weight, it knows that those eggs or that milk is missing a certain percentage and needs to reorder. It reorders automatically. If you're like me, you use Amazon for grocery shopping, they deliver it to you. Whatever time frame you already have set up and automatically pay through right now would be my debit or credit card. Well, IOTA hopes to do all of that same thing, except have it all done on the blockchain. That way, when you pay in the MIOTAs or whatever, or any other form of crypto they allow on their blockchain. And it does it the exact same way. Instead of charging your debit or credit card, it just takes it out your crypto, but everything else is automated, Internet of Things, right? So again, I think that is the future. After seeing regulations, of course, and how they act, I think that future might be 5 to 7 years away on the low end. I think we still have a lot more time to go because with the Internet of Things, of course, hacking is going to be a big issue. So that's going to have to be figured out, the cybersecurity piece of it. But IOTA is hoping to cater to that problem when it comes. So again, you can see more of this on Twitter. Oh, it looks like the page doesn't exist already. So hopefully they already deleted some of these private conversations. But this is big, people. As we continue to see more regulators come into the space, this is what we have to clean up. And I say that, but of course, if I were into it with another developer, co-founder, and the behind the scenes wasn't going well, I can imagine it'd probably turn out the same way, being shown in front of the world. But this does scare away investors, people. This scare aways investors. You talk about IOTA. I could be wrong, but if I believe correctly, it was like a $1 billion project, or they were aiming to get to $1 billion for their project. I know they were worth a lot after the ICO, but if you have these projects that are worth 300 million, 600 million, whatever, the last thing an institutional institutional investor, or an institution that's investing, or an organization that's investing wants to see is this at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. as they open up the cryptocurrency news, right? This is a very scary thing. When people invest in these ICOs, we're investing in that team. One of the things we always talked about when we're looking at ICOs is to make sure you look at the team. What projects have they done? What have they been successful in? What have they failed in? Have they seen things through? But that ICO bet, a part of that is betting on the entire team, not on half of your team. So we also saw this with Tezos, which was in the news as well. They were talking about Tezos, I guess, had a big pump this month as well, or last month. But they're in the news when their co-founder and the president of the foundation split as well, right? That's a scary thing. And that was another big project. We do not need to see this in crypto. This is a part of the self-regulation where maybe we need to have a part of the ICO plans, or I know we're not doing ICOs anymore, but any part of team building plans or product building plans need to include if the team splits before this date or before this product launch, then everyone has the opportunity to get their money back. Something like that. That's self-regulation right there. We can draw it up in a smart contract to make sure it sticks, but that is something we need to look at. We need to regulate ourselves because, again, while this is entertaining over social media, if you're an investor in these projects, it is very scary. We didn't create the best altcoins we buy video with IOTA thinking that in 3 years, half their team will be gone, or one of the co-founders will leave, who's the lead developer. People, he's one of the creators. So no, I didn't say, hey, this is something you should look at, even though the lead developer is going to leave. I say this is something you should look at as long as this guy stays. So again, this is something we need to consider when it comes to self-regulation there. What's going on, Ryan Cooper? There we go. DeVille Crypto Solutions. I've been seeing you. That's what's up. We say, how to say it? Bowie. I've been saying it wrong. Bowie State. What's going on? Sergeant Crypto said Tango. Yeah, that's right. It's the IOTA Tango. They do the Tango, not the blockchain. Thank you for that. That shows you how long it's been since I've actually took a deep dive into IOTA. What's going on, Mr. Gibson Sr.? All right, Ripple. Again, back on Ripple. Ripple partners with NASDAQ-listed firm to bolster U.S.-Mexico payments. Looks like Ripple, the firm. Okay, we know who Ripple is. We don't need the whole intro. The company has partnered with International Money Express, a money remittance services firm focused on the Latin and Caribbean corridor, Ripple announced on February 5th. Also known as Intermix, the new financial partner of Ripple is listed on the NASDAQ stock market with the stock quote IMXI. Looks like this new partnership can enable Intermix to implement Ripple's on-demand liquidity product through RippleNet, the company's global payment connecting financial institutions. RippleNet's ODL relies on the digital asset XRP as a real-time bridge between the sending and receiving of currencies to enable faster and cheaper cross-border transactions. Intermix, which is reportedly processing more than 30 million payment transactions annually. Wow, people, not $30 million. They're doing 30 million payment transactions annually. That is crazy. Intends to provide its customers with faster, cheaper, and transparent cross-border payments between U.S. and Mexico. I mean, this is crazy. Mexico is one of the largest remittance payments recipients after India, China, having operated 36 million in remittance flows in 2019. So again, going back to this from an investment point of view, this is the fundamental part of it, people. This is the part that for whatever reason, a lot of people in crypto don't like talking about this. I saw somebody on Twitter. Again, I don't respond. I just laugh at these. But somebody on Twitter said, all we do is cover news. We're just like a news site, which is cool. That is what we want to do for sure. But no, I've seen some of the other YouTubers or crypto celebrities that people love that do all the technical analysis. I'm here to tell you that they've been wrong they've been wrong all 2018 and 2019. Like, stop listening to them. It's that simple. This is easy to see. This is fundamental analysis. To me, it's like, I don't understand how you don't see how a price increase or decrease follows some of these things. It is very simple. You have a platform like Intermix, who does remittance payments and cross-border payments. We know remittance payments in Mexico coming from the United States are huge because a lot of Mexicans come up to the United States, whether legal or illegal, and have families back home and send money back. So we know this to be a real use case. Intermix is doing it. Intermix, like, I don't know some of the places that do it. What's some of the other places that do remittance payments? I can't think of the big one. It's like a check cashing place. You know what I'm talking about. But some of the other companies out there, like not credit unions, whoever does it. Some of the other companies that does remittance payments, though, that's the thing about Bitcoin and blockchain technology. We say, hey, this is going to get rid of it. Western Union, that's one of the ones I'm thinking about. Western Union. Everyone in those remittance payments structures right now, all those legacy institutions, they all want to switch to some type of blockchain. People believe it. They all want to. Not for the customer, of course, eventually for the customer, but for right now in the short term for their own pockets. So this makes a lot of sense for Intermix because since they are partnered with them, they can almost instantaneously start saving money. They don't have to change any of their business for the external customer, for the customers they on chain, but internally they can start doing all their transfers on the RippleNet, right? So automatically their company is going to save money. Now, in another year or so, when blockchain technology becomes even bigger and people really start to realize, wait, why is my bank charging me this money to transfer? Once that happens, then, okay, people like Intermix and Western Union, they'll say, okay, we can drop customer fees too. But trust me, the moment they make this partnership and they get somebody in there from support to show them how to use it, they can instantaneously start saving themselves a lot of money. This is the reason why Ripple will continue to pump and do well and be a tradable asset until, again, a central bank digital currency or CBDC or some type of digital dollar comes about. Because until that happens, there is no alternative. The only alternative is Bitcoin, right? I won't say only. the only noteworthy alternative is Bitcoin for these people, and a lot of them don't want to use it because of the transparency, of course, right? So again, see them using Ripple, and it doesn't just have to be Ripple. I joke about it all the time. They could use Bitbean or Redcoin or Dogecoin. There's so many other ones you could actually use, but this is Ripple's. This is their marketing plan. This is the people, their piece of the pie that they go after. So again, my point is just looking at strictly fundamental analysis, getting away from the technical analysis, because again, a lot of these people who do TA don't know what they're talking about. I mean, that's factually proven the last 2 years. No, I didn't see anybody come out in 2017. There were people saying that, hey, this thing is going to eventually dip and it's going to go bear. But I didn't see anyone saying, hey, we'll be in the bear market into 2020, people. So let's cut this TA nonsense out. I mean, that's one of the primary reasons why we shut down our trading thing, because it was like there wasn't a lot of wiggle room for TA. It was a bearish market. There wasn't a lot of wiggle room there. But again, when there isn't wiggle room for TA, this is when you switch over to fundamental analysis. Partnerships like this not only make sense, but again, it shows you that this is still a tradable asset in the short term. I'm gonna keep saying that in the short term. I'm not saying the long term, but definitely in the short term. All right, Ryan Cooper saying, "Oh, buoy." Man, listen, I always get it wrong. But to be fair, you all see me live. I get so many words wrong. It's incredible, right? What's going on, Canadian official? What's up? What's going on, Leroy Forbes? Ryan Cooper said, just sold all my Ripple, bought back into Bcash and Bitcoin. Ripple and Stellar, again, this is my thoughts on Ripple and Stellar right now. If you have 50 to 100 bucks at the price point those are right now, I would seriously consider buying. I mean, even if you had 10 bucks, I would seriously consider buying Ripple and Stellar, a small amount, and forgetting about it, people. Forget about it until the real bull market commences. Forget about it until you see Bitcoin at $20,000 again, all right? Like, that's what you need to do. Put 100, 200, whatever you can afford to lose. You know, it's the weekend's coming up. If you're going out to the movies this weekend, you're going to go get some drinks, going to take your girl on a date or your guy, whatever you're doing this weekend, do not do it. Stay home, catch up on Netflix, right? Use that money for Ripple and Stellar and forget about it. That is what that's actually how you make money in this market. Like, you have to do things like that. The price point, while it's still kind of high to me, it is considerably low for Ripple at that $3 and some change mark. And then Stellar, of course, follows the patterns and the movements of Ripple usually, as they have some of the same team there. But that is my advice to anybody looking to possibly invest. This isn't investment advice. It's just advice as far as if you're interested in Ripple and Stellar. I would consider spending some cash you don't care about on it and just literally forgetting about it until, like I said, Bitcoin hits that 20K. All right. And last but not least, SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce proposes 3-year safe harbor period for crypto token sales. Listen, you get 2 claps. That's it. All right. While this is a great idea, I'm with it. As I keep telling you every day, people, you have to be careful. It might not be intended to be. I'm not even gonna say this is done with ill will, malicious, because the last story of the day, or like the great news story, is a great news story. But you have to be careful because this could also be a government honeypot, which, as history has shown, it always is a government honeypot. They're never just gonna, oh, okay, you citizens can do what you want and we'll forget all about you. Come on, it's never like that. Gang, we want our paper, all right? But it looks like the SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce wants to give legitimate crypto projects a shot at success without running afoul of U.S. securities laws. And I have to attack this early on. The 2-year official at the Securities and Exchange Commission, nicknamed Crypto Mom by the blockchain community. Again, I traced this back. And Nicholas D, this is on CoinDesk. You and the other author who basically named her Crypto Mom. What's going on with these Crypto Mom and these Crypto Dad monikers are people in the media, like this author here or this contributor here, are calling them Crypto Mom or Crypto Dad, and then saying the community's co-signing this. No. You all from your articles are calling these people this, and then just basically attributing it. So I'm not calling anybody that's in the government right now that hasn't done anything, not proposed something, not thought about it, not made some cool remark about crypto. No, until you've done something, you don't get the Crypto Mom or Crypto Dad moniker. So this is another example of someone getting these monikers just because they said 1 or 2 positive things about Bitcoin in front of the government. So what? I know this is going to upset people and whatever. Obama said a lot of positive things, and he won a Nobel Peace Prize. Check how many drone strikes he did in the Middle East. All right, like it doesn't matter, people. The fact of the matter is, until I see something actually done, the action behind it, I could care less about what this person is saying in the big meeting room. All right, so I just want to start that for the Crypto Mom and Crypto Dad monikers. But with that, I'm still gonna give Hester Pierce some props now. I'm not, again, this is not all bad. It looks like she has formally proposed a safe harbor for token projects. It will give them some breathing room to develop their networks and communities before having to worry about the regulatory regime. Under Pierce's proposal unveiled during a speech at the International Blockchain Congress in Chicago Thursday, crypto startups will have a 3-year grace period from their first token sale to achieve a level of decentralization sufficient to pass through the agency's security evaluations, including the Howey test, the famous U.S. Supreme Court assessment. Again, I won't get off on a tangent, but the Howey test, which was created during segregation, needs to be re-looked at in general. Or was it created at the end of slavery or segregation? I can't remember. But it was created during an ugly time of American history. So I don't even know why we still even go by the Howey test. But if this proposal was left as this constitutes the great news story today. So I want to give it a hand clap. Hester Pierce, hand clap right here. If this proposal was left as it is, a 3-year grace period from the first token sale to achieve a level of decentralization sufficient to pass through the agency's security evaluations. Again, if it was left there, hand clap, great idea, I'm all on board. But let's keep scrolling down and talk about some other things that, of course, weren't at the top of the article. It looks like Pierce has floated this idea of a safe harbor in the past, but Thursday's proposal is the first formal attempt to make it a reality. Now, it looks like if adopted by the majority of the SEC's other commissioners, here we go. This is the part I want to key in on. It would create a strict, keyword, strict, one more time for the people in the back, strict. It would create a strict set of requirements for crypto projects to raise funds through a token sale, including requiring personal disclosures, code disclosures. Can you believe that? Wow. Code disclosures, public notices, and a number of other factors. And this is when you know the government's about to give you that hook, line, and sinker. The safe harbor is also designed to protect. There it is, people. Whenever you hear the government talk about protecting you, it's going to cost you some money, all right? This safe harbor is also designed to protect token purchasers by requiring disclosures tailored to the needs of the purchasers and preserving the application of the anti-fraud provisions of the federal securities laws, according to Pierce notes. Specifically, the proposal defines an initial development team, which is kind of what I actually just talked about, self-regulating with IOTA and their development teams, their initial ones, which will manage the network's development over its first 3 years in network maturity, referring to a network that is, quote, not controlled and is not reasonably likely to be controlled by a single entity or individual, but is operational. And it goes more and more on that. People, this is my problem. And this is what I meant by the honeypot of the government. Again, they're not about to give you think of it this way. If you're the school bully, you're taking every kid lunch money every day, right? Like no one can beat you up. You're running around, you're taking the lunch money. You're doing what you want. The teachers are scared of you. The principal's scared of you. Hell, security, everybody's scared of you. You do what you want. You're a school bully, right? And then all of a sudden you come to school one day and say, you know what, guys? I'm not going to just keep taking your money. What I'm doing is wrong. What I'm going to do is wait until the end of the year. And then once I see all your pockets are full, I'll let you go on about your way and buy all your school lunch and candy that you want. I won't bother you guys anymore unless you break one of these minor infractions that I'm going to list. For one, that doesn't make any sense because the bully's going to keep bullying. Like, no one's beating him up. He's going to keep taking money. And second thing is, again, I'm kind of losing my thought on this because it's hilarious. It's a honeypot, people. You can't say we're going to give you this freedom to basically do an ICO. Oh, but by the way, before you start, we have this strict set of rules you need to abide by. Like, it's the same strict set of rules that you're basically penalizing people for now. So, again, I think this is a honeypot. I'm going to keep saying honeypot until this YouTube algorithm catches it. And I would say I wouldn't trust this. I don't trust this. I know Hester Pierce is trying to do the best thing. And, of course, I know there are going to be people out there like, well, we can't get everything. We got to find compromise. I'm telling you no. Because the moment we agree to this, The moment this gets passed and you get this 3-year grace period and we have all these rules and regulations, give it 2 years, not even 3. In another 2 years, because I think Hester Pearson says she's been there 2 years now, so another 2 years would be 4 years. I highly doubt she'll still be in that same position. Wait until the next person comes and see what their thoughts on it are. And if they disagree with it, or even if they agree, but they say we can make this even more stringent, then what? We've already agreed to it. We've already said the Safe Harbor Act makes sense for the crypto community. Everybody's doing it. 2 years later, they decide to change it up. There's nothing you can do about it, right? At that point, there will be nothing you can do, and that regulation will be ingrained in the space by then. So again, my thought to the Safe Harbor Act, as well as every other regulation out there, is no. There doesn't need to be a Safe Harbor Act for ICO. We just saw 2 years straight, 2016 and 2017, of ICOs working perfectly, working as intended. Now, were there some bad apples? Yes. There were scams. There were ICO projects that actually tried to do the right thing or try to create a product and for whatever reason failed. That happens in startups. We've seen now with IOTA, there's startups and there's teams splitting. So I'm not saying it's all rosy where it's just like every ICO that came out was great. No. In fact, majority of it, as it finally turned out by the end of 2017, majority failed, right? A lot of them weren't good. But just because you fail or just because people lose money and get angry doesn't mean we need to regulate the entire market. That's the same as if you get in a car accident, should you no longer be allowed to drive, period? That's not how it works, right? You get in a car and your insurance might get raised or one of these different things might happen, but they're not going to say you can't drive anymore. There's people who've been in DWIs, driving while intoxicated, and they can drive again, right? So don't tell me because the ICOs, there was some scam or some bad apples or whatever happened that we need this elaborate regulatory guidelines. We don't. ICOs work perfectly. They still do what we wanted them to. What this is about is control. It's about finding out it's about money. Who's spending money? Where are they getting it from? How come we can't get our cut? It's all about money. So again, I know this probably took a slight negative turn. Again, great news story. I'm glad to see them talking about it. I think this is a great idea, this proposal. It's a great ideal if the ideal is left as the ideal itself, not the strict regulatory guidelines that go along with it. If you're going to give people a 3-year grace period, I'm with that. I think that's actually fair. We'll say, hey, every ICO, every project out there, no one's going to look at you for 3 years. But the moment that 3-year date is up, I don't care if it's a Tuesday at 10:49 a.m. As soon as it hit 10:48, 59, that 10:49 clicks, and yes, allow the dogs of the SEC, allow all these gangsters to come collect, right? I'm all for it, whatever. You're right. They had 3 years to make some money. They give you all a little taste of that action, and they decided not to, right? Go after them. But before that 3 years, again, I think that's a fair time period as well. Before that 3 years, no regulatory guidelines. No, you have to do this. It should be nothing. Allow the ICO process to work as it does, which allows for anyone on the planet to give you money at literally instantaneously. Allow that to happen and allow the project to mature. And I think it'll work out better for everyone. I think for the projects, they'll be in a better space because instead of places like Kraken have to worry about subpoenas and have to worry about compliance and lawyers and all that stuff, then they can just focus on the project. And then on the SEC side, when it comes to them making their money, because it's not about protecting people and criminals, it's about them getting their cut. When it comes to them getting their cut, they'll get a bigger cut because more people won't be scared to give money or invest in these ICOs. So again, they'll have more money. They'll have the wiggle room to actually build that project. And then last but not least, if they are concerned with protecting citizens and know your customer and all that stuff, which by the way, they're not, in 3 years, once you take over that project or once you go work with that project and give them your regulatory guidelines, even though it's law by death, because if you don't follow those guidelines, then the military and police come after you. So you basically have to. It's not a guideline, it's a law. But yeah, for those people who at that time decide to, the people after 3 years, you say, hey, you've been 3 years, you got to follow these regulatory guidelines. Then you can go look at all their projects. You can find out who the big money, who are the big whales in the project. And from there, you can see, all right, are these criminals? Where did this guy and his $100 million come from? Where did this person and their $30 million come from? Where did this woman and her $40 million come from? All right, now you can trace that back instead of doing all of it at the beginning and asking for your blood type before you sign up for an ICO, right? So again, that's my thoughts on it. I think it's a great proposal. I think it could actually work if we focus on the proposal itself and not the guidelines and the regulatory restrictions around it. All right, last but not least, a few quick comments. I'm seeing some people. S1 Dubs, what's going on? Cornelius Brownux. Let's see. PFC Will, what's going on, Trent? PFC Will said, no more Netflix and chill. It's about audiobooks and build. Hey, I love that. Audiobooks and build, man. I'm definitely kidnapping that one. S1 Dub said, meaning you can play if you can pay with the security laws. That's all security law is. I mean, listen, it's a gang of people who got another gang of people with guns behind them. They saying, look, these guidelines say you should give us some money or we're going to have somebody knocking your door. PFC Will said, no one at the ground base called, he said, no one at the ground base called her shit. That's straight PR and changing the pop narrative. We see the BS. That's my thing again. And that's what this crypto mom and crypto dad moniker, like that's the media, and it's a shame because it's the crypto media that's giving them these monikers. Or maybe you might get like a couple people on Twitter who's been in crypto since 2019, bro, who's giving them these monikers too. But no one who's been around are actually giving these people these monikers because they haven't done anything, plain and simple. What's going on, Malik Howard? PFC Wells said, she gets one clap, the government will let you play, then come in and take the whole project and federalize it, like school lunch, big boy privatize it like the internet, aka DARPA. Exactly. S1 Dub said, during the financial crisis, Obama told Wall Street that he was the only thing standing between them and the pitchforks. Then he immediately said, but, quote, I'm on your side. Exactly. Hey, listen, you can't talk about Obama. He's, you know how that is. He's, I guess, the new Jesus these days or something. At Bitcoin Jake 09, what's going on? Yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, as always, great show, people. Thanks for watching, as always. And I will see you all next week with I said next week. It's Thursday. I'll see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. Until then, make sure you smash that like and share. People truly appreciate it. Need to get this YouTube algorithm popping so we can get over on some of these terrible people giving you bad information out there. Oh, and last but not least, yeah, Bitcoin Jake 09. There we go. So Bitcoin Jake, who's on right now in the chat box, is actually the developer of Satoshi Quest, the game we covered the other day where you can earn Bitcoin. I asked Bitcoin Jake to come on. He said he might be able to do a audio interview, so we'll try to have him on very soon because I would love to hear about Satoshi's Quest and just the development of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency when it comes to video games as well. For those who don't know, I'm like a low-key gamer whenever I get a chance. It's rare, but I love playing whenever I have a chance. So definitely want to have Bitcoin Jake on when we can. Thanks again. Other than that, as I said, thanks for watching, people, and I will see you all tomorrow. Cheers.